So I'm removing this cover because I wanted to do a couple of things, as I said in the video. I wanted to check out anything on here to see if anything needed to be tightened, lubed. It does talk about lubing this assembly in the warranty manual, or in the service manual. I wanted to check that. I wanted to also check this connector, which I use for my charging my not charging, but actually powering up my cameras, and that's not working. So I needed to check that. So in the process of doing that, I found a couple of things that were concerning to me. One of those things is right here. Look at the wiring that comes from the joystick here and down. You'll see this wear spot, which the housing was actually sitting on and bolted down, so it was basically cutting through the wire here. You can see the wear pattern right here, where this was right there, and it would just vibrate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, with the housing on top of it hard. So it was basically like a big pair of scissors. Same here. You can see where that is wearing on this piece, on the back side, where it's basically just wearing through the wire. If I wouldn't have pulled this apart just to inspect to see what's going on, I would have found that this would have cut through a wire, this would have cut through a wire. My loader would have been non-functional. So there is a cutout in this plastic housing that goes over the surface area here. There is a cutout right here. If these wires are up here, that would prevent them from being cut like this. Then the plastic comes down on this side and then against the metal here. So when this was taken apart and put together, those wires were in the wrong place, and that caused that wear through issue. So I'm trying to find out a way that I can get these cameras to run off of this USB adapter that I put in the tractor back here where the cigarette lighter goes. I can't believe that this doesn't have enough power to run my GoPro 10 cameras, but yet it has enough power to light a cigarette lighter, which is, I guess, an option that you could have had put in here, a cigarette lighter. Actually, it's a cigarette lighter adapter. Most people would use it at this point in time anyways for USB to power devices or to charge devices. But in this case, you know, default is it's a cigarette lighter option. But I can't imagine that this has the power. I see something going on here I'm not happy about. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to check that out in just a second, but I'm not happy with this tape. I just found that. So when I modded this out, I basically took the two female adapters off of this, the two female adapters, and I put males, the opposite of this, on the other end of this wire. I plugged them into these outlets here, these females, and then I extended it out here so that I could plug it into my USB adapter, because my USB adapter isn't an L like this is. This is an L. Mine are just straight, so I couldn't use this adapter unless I bent the tabs on my USB adapter. I didn't want to do this. So anyways, this should work fine, and it has been working okay, but it hasn't been charging my cameras. I didn't know why. Now I know why, because it doesn't have enough voltage. So basically my cameras are always running off a battery inside the cab. When that happens, it creates heat from the battery, and then it heats up the camera body and the camera shuts off. Now, I was told that I could run those cameras without batteries and I would get much more life out of it without it overheating, because it's not running off the battery isn't causing the heat issue buildup in the camera, and I should be good. So that was my reasoning of looking at this. But in taking this apart, I just noticed while I was talking to you, this tape I don't know why this tape is here, but I'm going to find out right now. This is just concerning to me that I find if this wire was broken or cut or something like that inside there, that's just not a good thing. Let's go ahead and see what we get here when we take this apart. If I can get this lined up so that you can see it. Let's just open this up. This is the first time I'm opening this. I just want to see what's going on here. I'm wondering why this would have been taped. And that's not, to me, that's not factory. It's long enough without that to reach. So why would that have been changed? Why is the black one complete and the yellow one not? Unless it was damaged in assembly at the factory. Let's see what we've got. And it looks like that may be the case. This looks factory. It's a butt splice. It's factory. Now the problem is, if there's high resistance in there, if this pulls out at all, then it would be higher resistance. I don't see that moving at all. And they don't want to take the time to solder it, so they just do a butt splice, non-insulated butt slice, which is some anchor marine grade wire, which will, you know, if I can get it fed around and through, is going to be pretty well protected and insulated. It's stainless steel wire, so it's not inside there, so it's not going to, you know, create an issue with rust or corrosion. If I can feed that underneath, you know, from the battery, through existing wiring harness, through underneath the floor, up through here, and then through here, I can come direct to my USB port, charging it from the battery 100% of the time if I want, via a fuse. Now, let me show you what I found underneath the hood. This is interesting. So when I lifted the hood up to kind of see what's going on, I see this, which is fuse block, basically. Gives me access to 100 amp main, 60 amp battery, 60 amp key switch only, and 50 amp low power. If I want to use 100% battery for my USB ports, I would be working off of here. So I would need to find a port on the bottom of this device which allows me access to this battery. And because it's fused, I should be good. Right here. If it's fused, I should be good. So if I can find some place that I can put a spade terminal, male or female, on underneath this whole device, underneath here, and get access to that battery, then I can run the wire through the harness, back through into the underneath the cab on this side, and then up through the floor over here, up around this console and back. It'll be protected, it's going to be fused, everything should be good to go. I just need to make sure that I can get, and these are all hot, and the frame of the tractor is ground. So they've also got, here's an isolated circuit for the horn, a fused circuit for the horn right here, 40 amp defogger fuse here. I don't see any, it looks like this might be another fuse, or this could just be a connection. But I'm going to go ahead and look underneath here. I don't know if I can get my phone over there to look. It'd be nice if I could. See what's underneath there. See anything? So what I've been able to do here is get a connection like this. It's got a built-in fuse, 7.5 amp. I'll go on both sides like this here, one on the left, one on the right on the battery side, and that should be good. So I hook up the ground first, then I'll be able to wire this in separate. So what I needed to do was install this on. I got 12 volts here, battery connection here. One leg comes off, it comes up here to the ground. The other leg comes off here and goes through a fuse. So that's the hot. I got 7.5 fuse. If I take this out, I don't get any voltage here. Right now I've got 12 volts. I'm going to verify that. What I did here was ran a different fitting, which gives me this kind of an adapter, which allows me to wire this in. I can unplug it here, which is a lot easier than unplugging these. I offset these so that if one comes disconnected, I'm not going to have the hot touching the ground at all. And also these are double insulated, so even if they do come unplugged, they're plastic all the way up on each side, all the way around, so they can't really short out unless this weathers away. Brought it down, tied it, and I tied it here. This is the ground. I'm in the battery side right here. So I'm on the battery. I'm fused right here with a 7.5 amp fuse. I bring it down here underneath, right through here. See it right here. Come around, you don't really see it there. And then you see it wrapping around here. So it goes back and around. You can also see it down in there. Yeah, where it comes through here. It's the white one on the bottom, not the hose. Comes around. Down through there. There's really nothing that it can rub against. It comes over and up through here. So it's supported there. It goes up into the cab through here, up along this, up underneath, away from all the controls. It comes out with the rest of this wire. So I've got plenty of room here. That's hot. I would like to have it hot all the time so that I can record using the battery power when the tractor's off instead of leaving the tractor running to have that on. So I think this is going to work out good. I'll go ahead and put this all back together and test it and see how much voltage and amperage I have on that circuit.